This is Everyday Tension. Real stories based on real experiences about everyday conflicts people rarely talk about. This story was shared anonymously. If you'd like, you can support the channel by liking or subscribing and let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Here's what happened.
My mother-in-law wore a white dress to my wedding. I remember standing in the back room of the venue, adjusting my veil, when my cousin Lisa came in. Her face was sort of pinched. She said, "Jenna, you look amazing. Just so you know, Carol is out there in a full-length lace gown. It's ivory." I didn't say anything at first. I just looked at my reflection. My dress was simple, satin, not even a big train. I'd wanted things to be easy. My mom handed me my bouquet and said, "Don't let it get to you. She wants a reaction. Just enjoy your day." So I tried. I walked down the aisle and I saw her. She was in the second row, and the dress was absolutely a wedding dress. It wasn't pure white, but it was close enough. She had a little clutch and everything. She smiled at me, this wide, teary smile, like she was the one about to cry from happiness. I looked at my husband, Mark, and he was looking at me. He gave me a small shrug, his face apologetic. He'd seen it too. Later, during the photos, she kept trying to position herself next to Mark. The photographer, a nice woman named Sarah, had to gently direct her back to the side with the other relatives. At the reception, during the mother-son dance, she clung to him for a long time after the song ended, whispering in his ear. I danced with my dad and tried to laugh at his jokes. I told myself it was one day. I told myself I was being petty for even noticing, but it stuck with me. It was this little splinter under my skin. When I got pregnant, I was happy. We'd been trying for a while. We told our parents together, over a dinner at our place. My mom cried and immediately started talking about baby showers. Mark's mum, Carol, got very quiet. Then she clapped her hands and said, "Oh my goodness! What wonderful news!" She came around the table and hugged me. It was a tight hug. She said, "I'm going to be a grandma." She said it like it was the most shocking and delightful thing in the world. She started asking Mark about due dates, about names, about whether we were going to find out the gender. It felt normal. It felt nice. For a few weeks, everything was calm. Then the planning for the baby shower started. My mum and my sister offered to host it at my mum's house. It was going to be small, just some family, a few close friends, some food, no big games. I didn't want a huge thing. I specifically said I wanted it low-key. My mum asked about the guest list. I named people. When I got to Carol, I paused. I thought about the wedding dress. I thought about how, at every family dinner since the announcement, she'd somehow turned the conversation to her own experiences being pregnant with Mark. The stories were long and detailed. I'd sit there, nodding, while she talked about her hemorrhoids for 10 minutes. "I don't think I want to invite Carol," I said to my mum. It came out in a rush. My mum was quiet on the phone. "Okay," she said slowly. "That's your choice. It's your shower, but are you sure? It might cause friction." "I just want one day," I said. My voice sounded whiny, even to me. "I just want one day that's about me and the baby, without her making it about her. Is that so bad?" "No, honey, it's not," my mum said. "It's not bad at all. I just want you to be prepared for fallout." I talked to Mark about it that night. He was in the nursery, which was still just a spare room with a pile of paint samples in the corner. I stood in the doorway. "I think I don't want your mom at the shower," I said. He put down a paint chip labeled Seaside Mist. He looked tired. Why not? You know why. The wedding. She can't help herself. She'll do something, wear something. Say something. I don't want the stress. He rubbed his forehead. Jenna, she's going to be really hurt. It's her first grandchild. It's my first child, I said. I could hear the edge in my voice. Why does her feeling matter more than mine on the day that's supposed to be for me? It doesn't, he said. It doesn't. I don't want to fight. Can't we just invite her and ask her to behave? Did asking her not to wear white to our wedding work? I asked. It came out sharper than I meant. He sighed. It was a heavy sigh. The sigh of a man stuck in the middle. I hated that sigh. Fine, he said. It's your shower. Do what you want. But you have to tell her. I will, I said. I felt a rush of relief, followed immediately by a knot of anxiety in my stomach. Telling her. I called her 2 days later. I practiced what I would say. I wanted to be kind, but firm. I dialed her number. It rang 4 times. Jenna! Hello, sweetheart, she answered. She always sounded so buoyant, like she was on a game show. Hi, Carol. How are you? Oh, busy. So, have you thought about strollers? I was reading about these new ones that have a shock absorber system. I cut her off. It was now or never. Carol, I wanted to talk to you about the baby shower. Oh, yes. I was thinking, my friend Maureen has a beautiful condo with a rooftop terrace. We could maybe... It's already planned, I said quickly. My mom and sister are doing it at my mom's house. It's going to be very, very small. Just my mom, my sister, and a couple of my friends from college. Really intimate. I'm not even having aunts and cousins. So, I'm sorry, but we're keeping the circle really tight. The silence on the other end was thick. I could picture her face, the smile freezing and then melting away. Oh, she said. The buoyancy was gone. Her voice was flat. So, I'm not invited? It's not a slight against you, I said, repeating the line I had practiced. It's just the vibe we're going for. Super small. No family beyond my immediate. Mark isn't even going to be there. It's a girls' thing. Another silence. Then, I see. Well, thank you for letting me know. The line went dead. She'd hung up. I put the phone down. My hands were shaking. I felt terrible. I felt like a mean girl. But I also felt a fierce, protective sense of relief. I had done it. I had drawn a line. Mark came home from work. Did you talk to her? Yes. How did it go? She hung up on me. He winced. Yeah. She called me right after. At work. She was crying. Guilt, hot and acidic, rose in my throat. What did you say? I said it was your decision about your shower. I said it was small. I tried to make it sound like it wasn't personal. He wasn't looking at me. He was taking off his shoes, lining them up neatly by the door. And what did she say? She said she felt excluded from her own grandchild's life. She said it was a cruel thing to do. He finally looked at me. His eyes were sad. She's really upset, Jen. I'm sorry she's upset, I said, and I meant it. But underneath, I was also angry. Why did her upset have to be my problem? Why was my attempt to have a peaceful day seen as an act of cruelty? I'm not changing my mind, I said, quieter. I'm not asking you to, he said. But the way he said it, it felt like he was. The week before the shower was tense. Mark was quiet. He spent more time on his phone, texting. I assumed it was with his mum. I didn't ask. I didn't want to know. My mum and sister came over to help me make some simple decorations. We made paper flowers. My sister Amy asked, "Is Carol really okay with not coming?" "No," I said, gluing a pink petal. "She's not okay with it, but it's done." Amy glanced at my mum. Just be ready for some drama, I guess." "There won't be any drama," I said, too firmly. "She's not invited. She don't be there. End of story." The day of the shower was sunny. My mum's house looked nice. She had put out some sandwiches, a fruit platter, a cake. It was simple, exactly what I wanted. My two friends from college, Chloe and Samantha, were there. My Aunt Susan had ended up coming too, which was fine. It was a group of 8 of us, including me. It felt safe. It felt comfortable. We were about an hour in. I was opening presents, a little stack of onesies from Chloe, a soft blanket from my aunt. I was holding up a tiny pair of socks, laughing about how small they were, when the doorbell rang. My mum got up. "I'll get it. Probably the neighbor returning my pie dish." She went to the front door. I heard the door open. I heard her say, "Oh, Carol." Everything in my body went cold. I put the socks down. I look at Amy. Her eyes were wide. And then Carol walked into the living room. She wasn't wearing white. She was wearing a bright pink wrap dress, and the wrap dress was pulled tight across a very obvious, rounded belly. I just stared. My brain couldn't process it. The dress, the belly. She was beaming. She had a large gift bag in one hand and a small clutch in the other.
"Surprise!"
she said, her voice filling the quiet room. Everyone had stopped talking. You could hear the clock ticking on the mantel. "Carol!" my mum said, coming in behind her, her voice strained. "We weren't expecting you. I know. Carol said, waving a hand. She looked directly at me. Her smile was immense. "I just couldn't stay away from my daughter-in-law's special day, and I have a little surprise of my own." She set the gift bag down. She opened her clutch. She pulled out a few small, glossy black and white photos. Ultrasound pictures. She held them up like a preacher holding up a Bible. "I'm pregnant too," she announced. Her voice was loud, thrilled. "Due just 2 months after our Jenna." Can you believe it? No one said anything. Chloe's mouth was slightly open. My Aunt Susan had her hand over her heart. I just sat there on the couch, a half-unwrapped package on my lap. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. The air was gone from the room. Carol mistook the silence for awe. "I know! It's a miracle!" At my age, she laughed. A high, tinkling laugh. She came further into the room, rubbing her belly in slow, dramatic circles. "I've been dying to tell everyone, but I wanted the perfect moment. And with the whole family here," she gestured around the room, "well, it just felt right. This wasn't the whole family. This was my small, curated group. This was my moment. But she was here now, and she was the center." I watched as the energy in the room physically shifted. It drained away from me sitting frozen on the couch and flowed toward her, standing in the middle of the room with her proof. My Aunt Susan was the first to move. She got up and went to Carol. "Oh, my goodness! Carol, congratulations!" She hugged her. She took the ultrasound photo and peered at it. "Look at that! A little bean!" That broke the spell. My mum, looking utterly helpless, forced a smile. My friends got up, polite, awkward smiles on their faces. They offered congratulations. Carol was in her element. She accepted hugs. She launched into the story. She was 12 weeks along. It was a surprise, of course. She and her boyfriend, David, who was 10 years younger than her, were over the moon. I just sat. I felt like I was made of stone. Mark's mum, pregnant, at my baby shower. I looked down at the cupcake I'd been eating earlier. It was on a plate on the coffee table. The frosting was smeared. I had no memory of putting it down. Carol made her way around the room. She was talking about morning sickness, about cravings. She was getting all the attention, all the questions. My shower had evaporated. It was now Carol's pregnancy announcement party. Then she zeroed in on me. "Jenna, can you believe it? We're bump buddies." She walked over, her hands still on her stomach. She loomed over me where I sat. "We have to get a picture. Amy," she called to my sister, "take a picture of us, the mama and the grandma-to-be, both expecting." She reached down as if to pull me up. I flinched back. "No," I said. My voice came out as a croak. She laughed. Not a mean laugh, a patronizing, "Oh, you silly girl" laugh. "Oh, don't be shy. It'll be so cute." I said no. I repeated, a little louder. I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand next to her and smile while she rubbed our pregnant bellies together for a photo. It felt like a violation. She shrugged, still smiling, and turned away. Okay, maybe later when you're feeling more festive." She said it to the room, like I was a child having a tantrum. She moved on to the gift table, started examining the presents I hadn't opened yet. "Oh, what a lovely mobile," she said, holding up something my mum had gotten me. The next hour was a blur, a bad dream. She was everywhere. She was in every conversation. She was suggesting baby names for both of us. She was talking about how the cousins would be so close in age, like siblings. She was making jokes about sharing maternity clothes. My friends tried, a few times, to steer things back to me. "So, Jenna, have you felt the baby kick yet?" Chloe would ask. Before I could even open my mouth, Carol would jump in.
"Oh, the first kicks are just magical. I remember with Mark it felt like little butterfly flutters. I eventually just got up and went to the kitchen. I stood by the sink, looking out at the backyard. I could hear her laughter from the living room." My mum came in after a few minutes. She put a hand on my back. "I am so sorry, honey. I had no idea she would just show up." Or about the other thing. "It's fine," I said automatically. It wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. "Do you want me to ask her to leave?" I thought about it. I imagined the scene. My mum asking her to go. The fuss Carol would make. The accusations. The tears. It would make everything worse. It would make me look like the hysterical, jealous daughter-in-law who couldn't share the spotlight. "No," I said. "Just let it be over." I went back to the living room. I sat in a chair in the corner. I didn't open any more presents. People would come over, pat my shoulder, say a few quiet words to me, and then drift back to the orbit of Carol. She was holding court. She was the sun. Mark showed up at the end, as planned, to help clean up. He walked in and saw his mum, holding a plate of cake, laughing with my aunt. He stopped dead. His eyes found mine across the room. I just looked at him. I didn't smile. I didn't wave. I just looked. He went to her first. Of course he did. He gave her a hug. I saw her whisper something in his ear. He nodded, his face unreadable. Then he came over to me. "Hey," he said softly. "Hey. I didn't know she was coming." "I know. Are you okay?" I didn't answer that. I couldn't. What would I say? The party, what was left of it, broke up soon after. Carol made a big show of hugging everyone goodbye. She hugged me last. It was stiff. She smelled like perfume and cake. "We'll talk soon, sweetie," she said. "So much to plan." She left. The door closed. The house was suddenly profoundly quiet. My mum, Amy, and Mark started cleaning up in silence. The wrapping paper, the half-eaten food. My friends had left quickly, with sympathetic glances. I just sat in the chair. Later, in the car on the way home, Mark said, "She told me she'd been waiting for the right time to tell everyone. She said the shower seemed perfect because the family was all together." "She wasn't invited," I said. My voice was flat. That wasn't the family. That was my mum and my sister and my friends. She crashed it. She hijacked it. On purpose. I know, he said. He sounded defeated. I know it looks bad. It doesn't look bad, Mark. It is bad. She wore white to our wedding. She announced her pregnancy at my shower. What is wrong with her? She's excited, he said, weakly. She's impulsive. She doesn't think. She thinks about herself, I said. That's all she thinks about. We didn't talk the rest of the way home. That was 2 weeks ago. The fallout is still happening. It's not a big explosion. It's a slow, creeping gas leak. The family group chat, the one with my mum, my aunts, Mark, Carol, blew up that night. Not about my shower. About Carol's pregnancy. Aunts were sending congratulations. Heart emojis. One of my aunts said, "How wonderful that the cousins will be so close. Like twins." Someone else started suggesting baby names. For her, not for me. For Carol, names like Felicity and Jasper. I scrolled through it, sitting in bed next to Mark, who was pretending to be asleep. My phone buzzed again. It was a private message from my cousin. "Hey, congrats on the baby." And wow, Carol's news too. Wild. I didn't reply. People are messaging her more than me. I see it on Facebook. My shower photos got a few likes. Her announcement post, with the ultrasound picture and a caption that said, "Miracle baby." So blessed to be on this journey again alongside my wonderful daughter-in-law. Has hundreds of comments. People are calling it beautiful. They're saying how special it is. They're talking about the grandma glow. No one is talking about my glow. My own pregnancy feels dimmed. Every time I think about buying something for the baby or planning the nursery, I think of her. I think of her doing the same thing. I think of her comparing. I think of her showing up at the hospital. I have nightmares about it. In the dream, I'm in the delivery room, and she walks in wearing hospital scrubs, and the doctor hands the baby to her first. Mark and I are fighting. Not yelling fights. Cold, quiet fights. He says things like, "Can't you just be happy for her?" And I say things like, "Can't you just be angry for me?" We talk in circles. He says he's stuck in the middle. I tell him there shouldn't be a middle. Your wife and your child should be the middle. He doesn't have an answer for that. He just gets quiet. We sleep facing away from each other. She's sympathetic, but she also says things like, "Try not to let it steal your joy." That's the thing. It's stolen the joy. The shower was supposed to be a happy memory. Now it's the memory of me sitting in a corner, watching a 52-year-old woman rub her belly in my living room. Carol texts me sometimes. "How are you feeling, Mama?" she'll write. Or she'll send a link to an article about breastfeeding. It feels invasive. It feels like she's claiming a share of my experience. I usually reply with one word, "Fine." Or just a thumbs up emoji. I don't know how to handle the future. There will be birthdays, Christmases, school events. Is she going to wear a prom dress to our daughter's graduation? Is she going to propose at our son's wedding? It sounds ridiculous when I think it, but then I remember the white dress. I remember the ultrasound photos pulled out of a clutch purse. I'm trying to focus on the baby, on the kicks, which feel more like rolls now, on setting up the crib, but it's like there's a shadow over everything, a pink wrap dress-shaped shadow. My husband asked me last night if we could have his mum over for dinner next week, to clear the air. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I said I'd think about it. I'm still thinking. I don't know what to do. If I say no, I'm the bitter one, holding a grudge, keeping a grandmother from her grandchild. If I say yes, I have to sit across from her, watch her maybe rub her belly again, listen to her talk about her birth plan. I have to pretend it's okay. Nothing feels okay. The baby is due in 4 months. Hers is due 2 months after that. People keep saying it will be so fun, that the kids will be best friends. I just feel dread, a heavy, constant dread. I look at the nursery, at the pale yellow walls we finally painted, and I wonder if I'll ever be able to just enjoy any of this, or if she's going to be there, in some way, at every turn. I think she will be. I don't know how to make peace with that. I don't know if I should even try.